Hey guys, you got Ryan Hodge here, CEO of Black Folk Hotspots, your host of Support Black Business TV. And today we got a special guest. We got author Samuel P. Holloway III. You might know Sam if you have been following our posts or you're just familiar with him from being from Gary, Indiana, and the books that he's written. Uh, Eyes Without a Face, True Story of Survival from Emotional, Sexual, and Physical Abuse. And then book number 2 is How It All Happened, The Raw Truth. And this is a story about a young man who was molested as a child by some guys from the neighborhood that he was older with. And he wrote these books to kind of free himself and help. And then also what these books have, what caught my eye was what these books have done, him talking about it on Facebook, more or less anything else, was it started to bring other people out of these situations that they have been in, which is something that I always say that, some things that happen, we need to talk about it. Molestation, rape, incest, all these type things is things that in the Black community we never talk about. And what happens is it repeats a cycle over and over again. And then you look at these kids that's running around. And I'll be quite honest with you, people that's watching, and even to you, Sam. I didn't even know that men were molested until about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when I was talking to one of our other members, a female who went through almost the same exact thing you went through. And I don't know if you know her, Kelly. Out of Chicago. Yeah. She went through almost the same story, but in the female side of things. And she was telling me these things and showing me these stats and this and the other. I was like, wow, while I feel for that happening, I feel blessed. And me and my sister was talking about this, like, wow. And she was telling me how you look at these young guys and they're angry, they got emotional issues, and we might look at them as go and just not give them any benefit of the doubt, and we don't know that there may be something going on at home. This van guy that was beating these women, raping them, and killing them, leaving them in these houses in Gary not too long ago. I got an inbox message from a family member of his saying that he was also molested. So it creates so many different things. But we're gonna let Sam talk about his book because he can tell us better than my theories or things that I've heard, third party. We can hear it straight from Sam's mouth. So Sam, tell me how long. Okay, so how old were you when this first happened?
Started off like, touching me, like the normal things that people do to touch their time, which is, they're going to buy them candy, give them money, take them places, be nice to them, say I love you, give you attention, things like that, especially when you're in a broken home. Somebody can pick up on a vulnerable child broken. Like I said, you get that for 2 years, you started off just touching, and it led on to oral sex, and when he began to put his fingers in me, that's when I told. My mother was the first person to ask me before I told, had he been touching. And being that we didn't have a mother-son relationship like most children do, and like children should, I was scared to tell her. Plus he had threatened me by telling me he was going to kill my mom and my brother, and he worked at the Gary Steel Mill. And he drove me there one day, and he, picked me up by my shoulder and dangled me over the water. But if you ever told, this is where they're gonna find you. And being a child coming from a broken home, already not having support and love, I was scared, I was young, I was a child. Very point blank, I was a child. And like I said, when he started touching me, I went to school and I felt sick to my stomach because I knew then that what he was doing wasn't right. I've always felt like I was born gay, but at the same time, these experiences I went to school and I became sitting at the computer just thinking. And I told my teacher, she asked me, was everything okay? Was everything okay at home? And I told her exactly what was going on. Being that my mom worked for the school system herself, the teacher called the nurse, she called my mom, and she called the police. And she had to read the book to find out the rest. But make long story short, my mom beat me. You know what I'm saying? That was the worst beating of my life by my mother that I would never forget. And she beat me with a metal shower rod from the bathroom. After that, my two cousins began to have sex. They were older than me. They're my second cousins, and they're my mother's dad's son. And I never told my family until I began. When my first book I started came out, that was when I told my cousin. And after that, my brother's parents began to molest me. He had 7 friends. They all knew that I was gay. They all knew what type of home that we had, as far as him beating me, calling me fag, not really accepting me as his brother. He opened that door and allowed his friends to be able to do what they want, and we were always home alone. So this gave another of us space and opportunity.
So, so that's interesting. So you told your mom, and then you got a whooping.
I got a beating. I didn't get a
Okay,
whooping.
even worse. You got a right, right.
Yes, and my
And
mother instilled in me that night. What goes on in this house does not leave this house. This is our business. And being scared of her, it's like if anything was to go wrong, why would I go to my mother when I remembered that beating at 10? I mean, granted, I've got whoopings up until that point, but they were never that severe where I was left like physically, mentally, and emotionally just traumatized.
you got that one. That's what I call it. That one that you'll never forget for the rest of your life. And
Exactly.
that's unfortunate. Now, just backtracking, how's you and your mom? Is your mom still living?
She's still living.
And have you guys got a? Do you guys have a relationship now? Does she?
No, not at all. No. I
And
mean,
that's unfortunate because you.
hey, that's my mother. I'm always gonna love my mother, regardless. I don't even like people disrespecting my mom, saying like, when she wasn't there for you, it's her fault. It wasn't her fault. She's like a mother, just like any other mother. She's like a lot of black women that don't like to accept what reality is when it's right there in your face. They didn't write a handbook on being molested, when they were coming up. This is a conversation, a topic that's taboo. We don't talk about this. So she didn't see the signs, but she probably saw the signs because she had that woman's intuition. So she saw something that she didn't want to see. And when she found out, she was hurt, she was embarrassed, she was ashamed. All those feelings that come in with having your child molested. Period, point blank.
And that's funny. Because a lot of our moms are like that. You know, what happens in the house stays in the house, right? But I will say, and I thank God for my mom because and I tell my daughter too the same thing. Hey, I don't care what a person tell you. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna do this. You come to me. Let me handle it. And because I've heard these stories over and over and over again, and they all play out the same way. And that's why us in our black families, we don't go and we don't get therapy. We don't go seek help outside of the house. We tend to try to handle it indoors because for whatever reason. So let's fast forward. So the guys in the neighborhood, they did what they did. Now, did you keep? So you kept that to yourself because you didn't want to tell anyone. Am I correct when I'm saying in that?
No, no. I would say growing up, as far as growing up all the way at the top, was 22 years old. I didn't understand that was molestation. I felt like being that had already happened to me at a young age. That was something that I was supposed to do. And then when I got in my teens, I felt like I was turning out boys in the hood because I accepted my sexuality at that time, so I knew I was gay. And I just felt like, oh, okay, if I'm having all these boys and we doing all this and that, I'm turning out straight dudes. I'm turning out street niggas. And that's what we call them. But that's what I thought it was until I got raped at 22 in a prostitute. hang around a lot of girls. So all the girls in the hood knew other dudes that I was having sex with. But like I said, none of us ever looked at that as molestation. Now today, when we look back at it, we was like, wow, like we can't believe these guys was way older than us. And you know what I'm saying? It's just you sit back and you think about things, and they don't seem like what they were now.
Right. So, and so that, yeah. So being raped at 20, at that age, that made you think, hey, wait a minute, something really went bad. Okay. So let me ask you about, this, and this is to help other people, because I think that, number one, y'all need to get the book, right? The links are in the description. Get them on Amazon. You can get them. Both books are the links are in our description, and he's gonna hold them up so you make sure you're getting the right ones. Now, did you? Okay, so during this time period, how was your school life? I mean, because I've read some things. I didn't know you. You're a little bit younger than me, so I didn't see you in school or anything. But I see people say that you had, you were a pretty cool cat in school.
Yeah, I was, I think when you don't have love and support at home, you don't go out in the street and be an asshole. You're the nicest person in the world. So when I went to school, I'm giving them what I figured was me. Whether I was flamboyant, feminine, whatever the case may have been, but I was nice because I didn't have that at home. But being gay, being feminine, I had a lot of people that were bullied, which I wrote about in Eyes Without a Face, the first book. And growing up, the only thing I knew was to fight to protect myself. So I've always found myself fighting. Majority in middle school, high school, well, it only took 1 year in high school to fight one person. And after that, I made, you have to make a name for yourself. Unfortunately, being gay, you definitely have to make a name for yourself. So it was like when I heard that fag one more time, it just clicked to me like, this is gonna be the last time that I'm gonna be called a fag. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm a man that just happens to be gay.
Right, and I tell you, maybe things change, but we had a couple of gay guys that I grew up with. I mean, and I know there's a couple guys that I knew they something. I didn't know what it was. When you're in second and third and fourth grade, you don't know what it is. I just knew that they were a little bit different than everybody else. But we didn't mess with them like that. I remember calling, if I said fag, it was usually more as a joke, like, and it was usually to a straight dude, like, man, what, you know what I mean? And I get that now.
I definitely understand your point, and I'm gonna tell you why that you guys didn't do that, because it's by generation. Your parents, they probably don't approve of homosexuality or lesbians, whatever the case may be. They don't approve of that, but again, that was a taboo issue that you didn't speak about. Now, your generation, as far as you all having children that birth, I'm not even going to say us because I'm probably somewhere around the same age as you, but not that much younger. But it was my parents' generation that hated gay people. You know what I'm saying? And they talked about it, but they breeded that hate to their children, which was my generation. So we suffered with that. And now today, my generation took it 2 times further than what our parents done. So now these kids are really growing up being bullied because of their sexuality. And at the end of the day, it's just wrong. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to speak hate, because now you're going out into a public place, a school, wherever you're going to go, and you're going to bully a child that's either A, going to commit suicide, or 2, going to harm more than one person because they're going to be tired of being bullied, so they're going to go into retaliation, and they're going to constantly be angry, bitter, and always fight.
That's interesting that you say that, because that's pretty much it. Because I mean, I was a class clown, so I jived on everybody, right? And I can't remember ever really jiving on, the guy that I knew that was gay or whatever. I don't even think we entered into that space. But I do know that it was a couple of them that can scrap, that can fight. They had them hands. And maybe that was the case too, because it was that stigma that, hey, you know what, that dude can throw down over there.
We've had so much practice. You know what I'm saying? We get first by family members, so they gonna walk you like somebody in the street, and that teaches you to when you see a stranger, you're fighting for your life. It's not a joke out there. And I've always been taught I'm gonna have to pass that first list because I don't know what your hit is gonna be like. So I never gave nobody the opportunity to hit me first.
And that's why I asked how was your school life? Because a lot of times, a person can look at that and totally think something totally different. Oh, he has anger problems. Oh, he has this. Oh, he has that. But it could be something else, because you got to think of the person who maybe is not gay, but is being molested at home. Because that would bring that too, especially if somebody else knows about it or he thinks somebody else knows. He's gonna be quick. From what I understand and all the reading and the research I've done, is that causes that. I know a couple people I know that work in the prison system, and the mirror lady, she said, I can tell when a guy has been violated. His attitude changes like that. It goes from here to here. He didn't, it's like his. So I can only imagine what happens to a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old.
It's crazy because I'm on Facebook, and Twitter, and I'm really on Facebook a lot. And I see these guys making these comments, and I'm looking at them. Mind you, I don't know some of them personally. I just know of them. But when I look at their posts, I'm like, wow, like this dude can touch. You know what I'm saying? You can tell, like he's feeling so much hate. Everything that comes out of his mouth is bag this, gay that. You're supposed to always talking about gay people. You're gay too. You just don't come out and say it. That's all that is. You've been touched. You've been touched by somebody in your family, most likely your uncle. You haven't said nothing, so now you're mad. You're gonna go out here and spew all this hate. If you haven't been touched, you thought about touching somebody, or you want to be touched. They look at gay people and they hate them so much because they're living the life that they want to live. That's all that is.
And that's what my friend Kelly, that's what she said too. She said within 10 minutes of talking to anyone, she can pretty much tell if they went through some things.
Yeah.
So
you've gone through it, you know what it is. If you've gone through something, you can see it in somebody else. Because you knew all the signs yourself that you went through. So now you seeing somebody else going through it, and when they finally come out, you were like, wow, like I knew that because I've seen all that within myself. The self-hatred, basically, because it makes you hate yourself. It makes you feel ashamed, embarrassed, things that you don't want to talk about.
So where did the prostitution come from? I mean, how did that go? How did that happen?
When I first left Gary at 19, I went to go stay with my brother and his wife, and I was there for a total of 6 months. And my brother, before I came here, told me that he did not want to see me living the gay lifestyle. So basically, when I went to stay with him, I wasn't straight, but I was acting. You know what I'm saying? And his wife, ex-wife, took me to a gay club one night. He asked me, did I want to go out? And I'd been there for 6 months. Had not been to a club. Well, I've been to the straight clubs with them, but I wasn't enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I want to go. Yeah, I jumped at the moment. So I went, and the next day when I came home, all my stuff was back. And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? And he was like, bro, like you gotta go. Like I told you, I didn't want that stuff in my house. As far as you being gay, my wife didn't want me wearing her maxi pad, so you gotta go. And it was just like, wow, like. I didn't have that much family in Minnesota. I only had one that I could actually go stay with. So two, but my aunt had a house full already. And my uncle, and me and my uncle, we did not get along as children because he was verbally abusive, and I didn't feel comfortable asking him could I stay with him. But his daughter is my best cousin, my best friend, like my little sister. And my brother took me out. I drove over there and I cried to her, telling her my story. And my uncle walked past me, was like, you come stay over here, whatever the case may be. But, I'm giving you a time, like, you gotta go, whatever the case. So I got 2 jobs, started working right away. I wasn't really comfortable in my setting. A lady came into my second job one night, told me about a job, and I really didn't get the full description of it. She said I had to come to her house. And being that I really didn't know nobody and I was desperate as hell, I went to her house the next day and found out it was being a prostitute. I said, well, if I can get 60-40, I'm all in. I was all in.
Wow. And how long did that go on?
3 years.
What made you stop?
I got custody of my brother and his daughter, my niece. And when I got them, it was like, I felt like, when God gives you signs, that was my sign to get out of the game because I had two little girls that were 3 years old at home. And I knew that I grew up in a home with no love, no parents, and being that they were coming from a bad situation, they're my nieces, they're like my children. I felt like I should give them everything that I never had.
Now, is there any truth to this? I hear this a lot. That hurt people. So people who have been molested, they typically do the same thing to others.
That is not true at all. That is totally a lie. That's a myth. I don't know who said that. It should be shocked because most people that are hurt, molested, or raped, or experience incest, or abuse, do not go out and do it again.
See, I want that, and I'm glad you.
I think it's like
Go ahead.
I think it's a handful of people that do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really proven that some do it, but the majority, no. After it happens to them, they go out and educate. They want to make sure that nobody else falls the same route that they had.
See, that's what I was thinking. That says common sense to me. That means if I know how I felt, then why would I do that to somebody else? That just never made sense to me. But I had been hearing that from different stories, and I'm like, that makes no sense.
I think that one thing as far as being molested that you can repeat over is in relationships. Because of being molested, you can't form trust properly, clearly. And you go out and you have other relationships with other people, and that problem comes back up. Either they can do something to make you not trust them, or it's just instinctive for you not to want to do it. And you end that relationship, you jump into the next one, and it's just a cycle that keeps repeating itself until you face it and you're wrong, you're flawed.
Okay, so hey, if you guys are watching interview with author Samuel Holloway, you can check out his books in the description about molestation and things that he went through as a child to where he is today, and how he was able to get some of the insight out of him by putting it in the books. Make sure you share this as well, because more people need to hear this story. So Sam, okay, so at what point, when did you always know you were gonna write a book, or just something hit you one day and you were like, you know what, I'm gonna write a book?
I think when I was 28, I had already met my husband, by 26, I knew I was going to write a book. I didn't know that it was going to be like it is today. I knew that I was going to talk about being molested, but I was definitely not going to say names. I want to talk majority about my life as growing up as a child. Growing up without no love, growing up basically in a household with my brother being a parent, a bad parent, because my mother was never really there. And my father, who was not my biological father, he raised me for some time, but when he turned to drugs when I was 14, that just was like parenting myself all over again. So I basically wanted to just help children. That was my sole purpose of the book, was to help children and talk about being loved, making sure that you ask questions, things like that.
And so now you did something that, but you know what though? When Kelly wrote her book, she named names too. And it was, and I don't know if that was, I never asked her if that's what her intention was, but it was like her sisters and this, that, and the other, and they went through a period of, the attorneys, the publishers, or whatever, they wanted her to make sure she got they got signed off on certain things to, I guess to protect themselves from lawsuits or whatever. Um, but now because she wrote this book, she told me that it took a while, but now her family is a little bit more mended, you know. Um, and so, when did you decide, while you were writing, did you decide, you know what, I'm just gonna tell the whole story? I'm gonna tell names. I'm gonna do this. When did that happen? When did that light bulb hit?
2 days before we went to print.
How I say that again?
2 days before we went to print. Um, when I first started writing my book, I got published by this lady named Wilhelmina Hampton. Wilhelmina Hampton. She's the author playwright here in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I think I watch his videos.
No. That's
Oh,
Walter.
okay,
Yeah, that's just a whole different person. I interviewed her.
okay, that's it. Yeah.
Wilhelmina is a woman, and she got me here to Atlanta. She helped me, as far as get started writing the book, how to go about doing it. She helped me do that, and I had everybody with a fake name, from my brother to people that blessed me, my best friends. Everybody had a fake name, and I hooked up with J.L. King. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's the author that was on Oprah Winfrey Pro on the download.
No, I think I've heard of him, but I don't. Yeah.
Okay. I hooked up with him and he became my publisher. And so he took over the manuscript and changed the order of the book. That's all he changed, was just the order of how me and Wilhelmina had last chapter. As far as chapter titles, this chapter 3 is going to be chapter 1 now, things like that. And he told me to reread my manuscript because it was very powerful. He was like, this is going to really hit the way. It's going to help the black people. It's going to help a lot of children. I want you to reread your manuscript and tell me what you want to change about it. Because at that point, I had told everything that I just used fake names. So I reread the manuscript. 2 days before we went to print, I called him and I said, you know what? I want to change every name in that book. So what's that person's name? And he was like, wow. And I said, because I realized that this is my truth, this is my life, this is my story, this is what they've done. He said, well, if you do that, somebody's going to most likely sue you. I said, I'm ready. That's what I want. Because I had spoken to so many lawyers before I published this book. And I knew that, something was going to come back because of description. But the lawyer said, if you use real names, and they come back and they sue you for slander or defamation of character, that's the only way they can. But if it's the truth, who's going to want to sue you?
Right. You can't sue the truth.
You can't sue the truth. He said, but if they do that, you can file counter suit, make a polygraph test, whatever the case may be, get your point across. And so that's what I did. I went on ahead and I used 4 names: first name, middle name, nickname, your last name, how many brothers and sisters you got, where you lived at. I didn't care because I felt like if you're gonna sue me, let's go, because ain't no fool in their right mind gonna take you to court when they know you telling the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just felt like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna put my life on the line because I know I'm from the hood. I know these are, street killers. I didn't care because I felt like at the end of the day, you shouldn't have done what you done. What you do in the dark shall come to the light. I was a child. I was 12 years old. I don't care if I was gay. I don't care if some people say I was hot in my ass. It don't matter what I was. I was a 12-year-old little boy with no voice. Now I'm a man at 36, so I say let's go to court. And it's been 3 years and 8 months, and we ain't had a date yet. Not now one lawyer has contacted me. And everybody's getting on Facebook defending themselves and their family trying to defend them. But we ain't went to court. You haven't got a lawyer. It's just like us as black people, we need to wake up and realize that when somebody is in denial, when somebody can't tell their truth, this is my truth. What I got to lie for? I didn't go and pick names out of a Secret Santa hat. These niggas ain't rich. They're not ballers. They're not rappers. They're not in the NFL. They're not in the NBA. What am I going to get from this monetarily? The only thing that's coming from this is me being free. Me telling my truth, me helping other people, me getting other people to come forward because I know that I'm not the only one. That this has happened.
Exactly. So and that took a lot of balls. because a lot of people wouldn't do that. A lot of people would be a little bit more like, hey, you know what? Let me not do that.
Now, I felt like let me do this because I look out in this world and I see a lot of hurt. I see a lot of people that's pissed off and mad, and we always say, what the hell is wrong with them? Why they so angry? Why? I tell you why they angry. They've been touched. They've been abused. They didn't have no love, no support. Our women are like the most hurt because you always hear a brother saying, she always walking around with an attitude. She can't trust me. She's crazy. It's not that she's crazy. It's not that she always got an attitude. It's not that she can't trust you. It's that she came from a home where she saw her father cheating on her mother. So that already gave her a trust issue. Then she's been touched by somebody within a family or somebody that she knew. She got raped. So now she got another issue. You know what I'm saying? All these issues snowballs effect, and it takes control of a person's mentality. It makes them look like they pissed off when they really not. They crying out for help. They just haven't dealt with it. They don't know how to deal with it. And we as black people feel like we shouldn't go see a psychiatrist because then we're going to be considered crazy. Well, we all are a little crazy. But you're crazier because you haven't sought any type of help. And it makes you go insane. It drives you over the edge. It makes you do things that you don't want to do. It causes you to go out there and be a menace to society.
You know what? And I dig exactly what you're saying because, I've seen, it's certain things, and me and my sister are like the same age, so we grew up seeing, together, and so that's probably my best friend in the entire world. I can talk to about anything. But one of the things that, like when somebody all of a sudden you be like, somebody's leading a really cool life and this and then all of a sudden they just commit suicide. I go, and when nobody knows, they don't leave a note, they don't do this, they don't do that. I go, I wonder if they were holding a deep down secret because that stuff, it has to eat at you. And then I hear these different stories from all these different people that I talk to, and I'm like, that has to be it. When you look at these kids out here on the street and you're like, okay, he's a thug, he's a this, he's always in the trouble, he's always doing this. I'm like, I wonder. And that's why I appreciate people like you, and I appreciate people like Kelly that have written these books that got other people talking about the things that's happened to them or the things that somebody has tried to do, because that is so important, because it's just like PTSD. The greatest therapy for PTSD is to write. That's what they tell them. You got to get that stuff out of your head. You got to talk about it. And when I was 18 years old and I was in the Air Force and I was getting in trouble for shit that I had no clue I was doing wrong, which I wasn't, but the same thing over and over and over again. I kept saying, look here, y'all, this has got to be a joke, right? This has to be one of the situations like, where are the cameras at? Because I know right from wrong. I ain't never been in any trouble. But so if I did something wrong the first time, do you think I'm going to keep doing it the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth? But here's the problem. They were trying to, put me through Article 15, do certain things with me, kick me out, whatever. I was holding all that in because I didn't have nobody I could talk to. I didn't want to talk to my mom because I didn't want to worry her. Because there was nothing that she really could do but just talk to me. And so that was my vice. So I really didn't talk to anybody, so I held it in. So the one thing they did, and this is where I learned this shit works, is they had, because of what they were trying to do, they had to send me to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist did his whole workup. He contacted people that knew me. He did all this whole thing. But before he turned in his report, he called me to his office and he said, Ryan, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, all right, what up, doc? He was like, listen, I'm about to turn this report into the captain. And I'm going to let the captain know that there's nothing wrong with you. Number one, you are stressed out. You are on the verge of having a nervous breakdown because you don't talk. because you hadn't been talking about this. And he said, for the rest of your life, no matter what happens, shit happens, you need to talk about it. You need to get that out of you, because that stress is the biggest killer. That's why you see people dropping dead, having heart attacks, and this, that, and the other. You're like, wait a minute, he was in perfect health, but you don't know if he was at home worrying about bills. You don't know if something had happened to him and he wasn't talking about it. So I really appreciate that, and because you're a blessing, because you're bringing something to the forefront, and no matter what those dudes say, you know, obviously I can't say that you're lying or you're telling the truth. I only know your truth. And as far as I'm concerned, nobody does shit like that. Nobody makes up stories like that. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not laughing out of laughter, but
I know. I know exactly what you mean, though.
It's nobody makes that shit up. It's like, dude, I could, if I was writing a script to a movie, I probably couldn't do it. Like, this is what happened. And I've been reading a lot of the stuff, and you know, I'm telling you, your conversations, man, have the conversation you started have hit on not only Facebook, and I'm sure you know this by now, but they're offline too. You know, you got people who not friends of yours, who, you know, three degrees not friends of yours. Friends of friends of friends is not friend of yours talking about it. Like, you know, I had asked my girl, I was like, hey, are you friends with this Samuel Holloway? She's like, no. She was like, and then like a couple of days later, she was like, my friend was telling me that I need to look at my homegirl. And I'm like, yeah, you do. I've been trying to get you to look at it for like a couple of days, but you know what? You told me, F me. But now your best friend can tell you to look at it. Now you all of a sudden you gotta look at it. And then she says, I spent hours reading the comments. And I was somewhere else, like out, where was I at? At a baseball game. And people were talking about it. So that's a conversation. And I said at that point, I got to get him on. I got to talk to him. We got to spread this word, because there's people in California. There's people in the UK. There's people in Canada. There's people in Miami, or, you know, even in Atlanta that you may not know, or Dallas. They need to hear this story. They need to get these books, because it's going to open up conversation. And I think the best thing you did was name those names. And when you posted those pictures, they put names with faces, because while I didn't know any of the guys that I know of, I know a couple of them looked familiar to me. You know, also then somebody said I went to school with one of the cats, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I knew him or not. But, you know, and then reading the inbox messages back and forth between you and him and other people, I'm like, a second-year law student would be like, dude, you did this shit.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, wait a minute, and this thing, I never did this. Well, and this thing is like, well, maybe I did. What?
Yeah.
I don't know. If it was me, I never would have responded to you.
Exactly. But the thing is that he is so manipulative, and he's done it so much, and he's so courageous with it, that some victims he just honestly can't remember. You got to understand that some people he can't remember. But for me to post anything about some young girl, you call them, you call their parents, you reach out to them, you know exactly who I was talking to, and I didn't even have to say a name. Your ass is guilty.
Yeah.
You are guilty.
Yeah.
You can't pick over 6 billion people in this world. I post one damn post and don't say a girl's name. I give a description of when something happened. You call her mom. Your ass is guilty.
Yeah.
You know who your victims were. You know all your young victims, but you can't put a face with the older victims, because they're too old for you. You know what I'm saying? You've done this before. I called him myself.
It's like a game. It's like a game, and somebody needs to be protected, because if not to protect it, but he needs to be protected, because there's some daddies out there that will put a bullet in him.
You need to turn yourself in. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and turn yourself in.
That's your
What
protection.
you did is not right at all. And I'm quite sure there's more than just 11 of us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got the same damn story. You was flipped out. If you was on the phone listening to these girls, it ain't like, they can, it is just not like that somebody can come forward and be like, oh, such and such. Can I say names on here?
Huh?
Can I say a name on here? Can I say
Yeah.
names? Okay. It's like, somebody can't come forward and be like, Stacey raped or molested. I'm going to ask you, first off, what did his penis look like? How was he sexual? You know what I'm saying? These are questions that I ask every single girl. And when I tell you every single girl had the same answer, every girl described how it was down to one of his baby mothers. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand these victims are a range of people that if they were lying, they can't be lying. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say it's just somebody too close to him to be lying on you. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to lie on your blood. You're not. And it goes as far out to strangers. It's as young as 19 years old and as old as 46 years old. 11 people. You cannot tell me that there's not more. You got 5 rape victims, 5 victims, 5 females that were molested, and myself. Makes 11. And we got 2 that's unconfirmed. This is crazy. When do we say enough is enough? When do we stop being nice? When do we say, all right, let's speak about this, let's talk about this, let's get him on the stand? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you are innocent, you're not going to be in people's Facebook inbox telling them that you're innocent. You should have watched it and get you a lawyer. There's plenty of them that work pro bono. There are plenty of lawyers that work pro bono. And I got some coins. So come get them. Plain and simple.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, I mean, and that kind of, I started thinking about the Bill Cosby thing. The one thing I can say is, I know it's one chick that was younger or whatever, but I'm even with the Bill Cosby situation, I'm like, did he date rape these people or not? I mean, this was years ago. I know they got the same stories, but Bill Cosby was the man. I mean, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, Bill Cosby was the freaking man. And I know celebrity, but I do know that it's some, I'm like, well, maybe, he had a lot of freaking, I don't know. But then after a while, when so many people come out, you like, damn, for real? You like, okay. I mean, I'm like, well, just maybe he was just a stone cold freak. At least these chicks were adults. I mean, I'm just saying. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm a father, and I got one daughter, and I'm also an uncle. I got one niece, and I already know that it's the only thing, you can play back this video, and this, that, the other, because yes, I did it. Because if somebody did it to my daughter and I know who it is, I don't know how I'll handle it. I just don't know.
I know me. You know what I'm saying? It almost repeats.
Well, I do know, but I ain't.
The cycle almost repeats itself. You know what I'm saying? I had custody of my nieces. I took them home to Gary to go see my mom because that's their grandmother. I felt like, what my mother couldn't give to me, at least she can give to her grandkids. And my mother was remarried at the time, married someone that she didn't know again. And I go there, make a long story short, my mother left them with this man. And this man put my nieces in the tub. I flipped out. I lost my damn man. I'm going to kill this man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm asking, first thing I do is I walk in the house, I can see them in the room, door wide open, they ain't got no clothes on, they wiping off. And he's sitting in a chair with a robe with his chair turned towards my old bedroom in the project. And I go close the door. Well, I go in the room with them and I close the door. I ask them questions. Who put you in the tub? Was he in there with you? What did he say? Did he touch you? Did he help you get out? These are all the questions that I felt that my mother should have been asking as a parent. You know what I'm saying? And I tell them, hurry up, get dressed. Don't worry about nothing. Just get your clothes on. Hurry up because we about to go. I go out into the living room, and my mother's still not there yet. And I'm going in. I'm going to get ready to do something because I just see myself getting molested by my mother's boyfriend at 8 years old. And I asked him, what the hell did you put them in the tub for? Why was you in there? Like, no, bro, I'm about to beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
my mama coming to the door. I wrote this in the second book. My mother's coming to the door. She's like, hold on, that's my husband. You can't be talking. Fuck your husband. Your husband just put my nieces in the tub and you wasn't here. You wasn't here to protect them. Why did you even leave them here with him? We don't know him. You do. And she's like, that's my husband. He wouldn't do that. Your boyfriend was your boyfriend and you said he wouldn't do that either, but he did. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you dumb as hell. How could you? As long as we left. You know what I'm saying? She told me to get out. Disrespect my husband. And I just felt like you just opened the door to let somebody touch your damn grandbaby. You allowed this cycle to start over again if this man was touching you. You know what I'm saying?
I do, and it's like my girl's son. I remember when we first met, and his father was like, you got this dude around my son, and you don't even know him all that well, and and he called me all type of names that he didn't know me personally or whatever at that point, and and she was mad about it, right? And the funny thing is, I told her, I said, look, he has a right to be concerned about that. I ain't trying to be funny, but he does have a right. I'm not that person. I'm not going to put my hands on his son like that. I'm not going to do anything like that to him. But he has a right because a lot of times it is that boyfriend or it's that extra person. A lot of times it is. My daughter's mom, was in a relationship. She's recently married to the same guy, and those are the same concerns that I had with her. And you hope that you choose the right person, but you just don't know. You just don't know, and it's so many things. So okay, so after the first book, what made you come out with the second book? Or was that the plan already? Was that the plan from the start? Was like, okay.
I wanted to write that first book, and I felt like I was done. You know what I'm saying? I had gave my truth. I told my story. That was it. But when I thought about it, I said, wow, like, I didn't go into depth about being molested by these 7 men. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I only gave you the first encounter. I didn't give you not enough details. And I had two.
I'm still here.
Okay. I felt like you had too many people that were coming for me, saying I was a liar. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and write this story. But then I get another thing that it made me. I had to write. You know what I'm saying? Because my mother and my cousin put my HW status on Facebook. So I just felt ashamed. I felt all of them the wrong feelings coming back, and I felt like I'm not going to give somebody a pen and paper to write my story. I'm not going to allow somebody to make me feel inferior. So I tell my own story. I tell everything that I've never wanted to talk about because I don't want to have anything out there that somebody could use against me to hurt me.
So you saying that these guys have read they had read the first book. I mean, they had started looking at the first book. They read it.
They heard about the first book, but their family members and friends read the first book.
Ah, okay. Because Gary's small, so you ain't much you can do in Gary without everybody finding out, and everybody probably related.
And everybody knows.
Yeah. Oh, now let's talk about the business side of things. So, because I'm interested in that one. So, how's book sales going?
Great. I've had over 6,000 sales.
Get for real?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? That's good. And you know what? You deserve that, bro. I mean,
That's not on the second book. That's on the first book combined with the second book. Because the first book has been out for 4 years. It'll be 4 years in December. And I think the second book has made about 2,000 sales. Yeah.
So did you notice that once you wrote the second book, the first book starts selling more? Like people will go back. Okay. Which is what I tell people on a business tip, right? I'm like, look, you can write a book, the first book, and it can bomb, right? But you keep writing, you keep doing certain things because what happens is people will go back and they'll start reading backwards. They're like, hey, I got to go get the first one. I got to go get the first one. It's like watching a Matrix, you know, watching the second or the third version, and then go like, well, let me see what happened in the very first one. You know, Star Wars is a good example. They didn't even start off at number one.
Yeah, if you read the first book, I mean, if you read the second book without reading the first book, you're going to be kind of lost. So it draws you back to the first.
Man, that's solid, man. You know what? And I say this again. You need to be sitting on somebody with a whole lot more power than Black Folk Hotspots. You need to be sitting on somebody's couch telling their story, you know, because did you feel better after you wrote the book? I mean,
Hell yeah. Man, I felt so free that it's like I can't even describe my feeling because everything just came at once. You know what I'm saying? I finished the first book, I graduated from college, I had my father come here, my biological father and his whole side come here, and I just felt like all my truth was out there, all my dirt was out there. Nobody can say nothing against me that can hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And that was the most freest feeling in the world. I think my only downfall is not having that relationship with my mother. Regardless of, like I said, regardless of what my mother has done to me, regardless of what we've gone through, that's still my mother and she's alive. So that's the only thing that still kind of, I'm not going to say hold me back. It's just when I get my downtime or, you know, this is life. So something's always going to happen to me. When I get those moments, I think about, man, I wish I could talk to my mom right now, you know. But instead, I turn to my sister as my mother. And
right.
it gives me right back to where I was. I'm on that high.
Do you know if your mom read the books?
I know she read the first one. I don't know if she read the second one.
Okay.
And she
You,
felt
you
like,
sent the autographed copies?
yeah, I sent all my close relatives, you know, personal autographs.
Money.
Um, my mother felt like this book was to bash her. She felt like it was to have people look at her differently. She said everybody hates her. The one thing I cannot control is people's perception and how they feel about my mother. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even think that you know what? I bet you any money, not to cut you off, but I bet you any money people don't feel that way towards your mom.
No, they
That's
do.
your mom thinking they feel that way.
Some people posted it. It's not lying. Some people have posted that. And when we were going back and forth, when I first posted those guys, 5 pictures of them, a lot of females were saying, you know, well, where was your mother at? That's her fault. Things like that. Which it can go either way. But at the same time, when I wrote the second book, I dedicated it to her because I wanted to let her know in no way, shape, form, or fashion was this book a bad book. I love my mother at the end of the day with all my heart. This book was to open up a lot of other female eyes to let them see what my mother did so they wouldn't make the same mistakes. Because like I said, they didn't have a guidebook for my mother to go through. And I was a child with no voice, so I didn't talk. You know, so now I'm an adult. I'm telling women out there, this is what my mother did. This is what we've gone through. Don't let your child be me. Don't you be my mother all over again. Let's stop this cycle and talk about the things that we don't talk about.
That is true. So let me ask you this. So what's next?
I'm writing another book. I'm writing 3 books actually. I'm just gonna tell you about 2.
It's gonna be comedy or something? Because man, I
No,
don't think most people can take any more of this, bro. No, I'm just kidding. But go ahead.
I don't do comedy. I give it to you just like it is. I don't feel like nobody should be sugarcoating shit. That's what got us in the situation today. Be real. Tell it just how it is. The truth is gonna hurt people's feelings regardless. You know what I'm saying? But there is a follow up to this because you know when you think about life, you think about a lot of things that you don't talk about, things that you leave out because it didn't come to your mind right then and there. Plus, I'm talking about the reactions from today. You know what I'm saying? And I'm writing a children's book because I feel like children need to start reading early. Children need to know this is my private part. You can't touch this. That's my mother. You can't hear her. My mother supports me. I'm going to tell my mother everything. I should be able to know the signs of a child molester for a parent. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no guide then. There will be a guide now. You can understand when you see signs that these things should not happen again. If they do, they're because of you. You didn't open up your eyes. You were naive. You were blind. You were just in this great denial. So there should be no reason if there should be another child coming up saying that they're living a life of sin. And I'm opening up a youth center here in Atlanta. We all work in silence. We're working in silence. There's a lot of homeless children here. Ages 13, 17, they're on the streets. They're out there doing the same thing that I did in my 20s, except for now they're selling themselves for $20 and $30 for just for a subway sandwich. There should be some type of outlet to help these children so they won't become the adults that choose to stay on the street. Because that's what eventually happens for they either have HIV and AIDS, they're very promiscuous, teen pregnancy, death, jail, you name anything that's negative, that's where these children today will be without the type of help they need. And I feel like either I've gone through it, I've seen it, I've dealt with it, I'm going to be a stepping stone for these children to make sure they don't take that same route. So, open up to this.
That's I like that, and you need. I would also like to add that if you come up with, you should come up with some type of series where you can go to, you know, schools and talk about these things, or have seminars and things like that, man. Because number one, I ain't trying to be funny, but on the business tip, it's going to sell more books. But more importantly, it's going to help more people and reach more people.
It's gonna open up eyes. I spoke at the Georgia Florida International Congress Center. I spoke at a PTA school function. I've been to Boston, spoke down there. I've been to Florida, had a TV commercial. I mean, I've spoken at different places. I just feel like it's time to be stepped up now. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going for my bachelor's degree, just graduated with my associate's in business. Because I feel like this is a business. This is something that we need as black people. I mean, not just as black people as a whole, but just as everyone. But black people are so far behind. Our Caucasian counterparts have already thought there. And it's just that we do things totally different. We go and we seek street justice. They go and they get legal justice. Unfortunately, we don't have the complexion for the connection, so we still kind of lost on that end. But we have not sought help. They've already sought it. So it's like we just gotta do some things differently, and we need to start talking. We need to start speaking about it. The streets need to talk.
Yeah, because you got it. I mean, and I know right now, especially um, with you got the LGBT community is huge, and they're getting a lot of traction, and people are starting to listen now. So this is the right time to be getting these words out in the universe, man, because that stuff it's helpful. I mean, I just know in that children's book, I'm gonna tell you, one of the things that I had told my daughter, listen, your bikini area, anywhere you have on a bikini, hey, you know what, that area, you know, because I don't want her worried if a guy, pat on the shoulder or grab, it's like, okay, that's your, unless he's trying to force you to do something, but your bikini area, you touch there, no, you tell me, I don't give a shit how many times he say he gonna kill me or your mama or your grandmama or your dog or anything you got, because I'm gonna get him before he get me. Trust me, we gonna take care of that. Don't you ever worry. But man, anything else you want to add, man? This has been enlightening. I've learned a lot. Oh, hold on. When did you decide to make that Facebook post that that post went on for a week?
I know. It had over 600 comments, had over 600 shares, 595 likes. Yeah. I got a death threat. Like I got a death threat that was so. I've gotten 11 total. You know what I'm saying? The 10 before that, somebody can just say, I don't feel anything behind it. But the last death threat that I got, it was so hard, it was so informational that I felt like if I was going to die within the next 30 days, which that's what it said, along with a lot of other stuff, I felt like if I was going to die within 30 days, I needed to put a face with the name. I needed to make sure that every single person on this fucking earth knew who these people were, because these people are living their life free. And I knew in my heart, I said, there are more people And if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go out with a bang. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna know the story is not going to die. It's going to magnify. I said God didn't leave me because I've had so many chances. He didn't leave me to die like this. You know what I'm saying? There was a purpose for my life, and I was gonna make sure if I was gonna be here or if I was gonna be gone, my purpose will still live on. I know why I'm here, and my here is to speak my truth to heal so many other people from their truth.
Yeah.
Because I've heard so many stories that it can make you just be like, God damn, what the hell are people thinking? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got
Yeah.
living in a world full of hurt. You would be amazed. Your cross is not half as big as somebody else's cross, but we all got a cross. And I feel like we are holding in so much hurt. Let me tell it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna die in 30 days, bro, everybody gonna know the story. Period, point blank. And I don't give a fuck who get mad, how many kids they got that's gonna be hurt. I didn't care about families being broken up. I didn't care about shit except for me at that point, for real. I was like, I'm gonna do it.
And you know what? And who's to say that that same stuff wasn't happening in those people's families? And now person goes, hmm. You know what? I did see that a little weird because that those are things, man, that are.
Now,
Ugh.
I've had family members up there hitting me up. I mean, you got them on both sides. You got the good family members, you got the bad ones. But the good ones was like, oh my God, like I knew that had to be true. Like, he's touched me like that before, but he ain't never get that far. Or he's done this to my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Or the best friend would be like, bro, like, I know, you know what I mean? Just, it was, and the crazy part was it was more men coming and like, I kind of seen this. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, why are my sisters the ones that are in denial? I know why, because they've been touched. And they ain't dealt with their own problems. So when you bring something like this to the table, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see that because I ain't dealt with my own yet. And now if I have to deal with yours, that means I got to open up, back up the door to my own. That's all that is. So let me close that out and let me just be in denial.
Right, because that's exactly what happens. You know, I know a person who is 60 something years old, bro, a female, and she still talks about somebody either in the family or close to the family touching her as a child. And everybody looks at her like she's crazy. And you ain't gonna lie, I did too. But listening to you, listening to other people, that could have happened.
Yeah.
And she's still holding it in it because nobody has ever said that could have happened.
Yeah.
And she probably didn't get the right therapy. So she's been dealing with this. And then you look at the relationships, the bad relationships she's had with men ever since she's been an adult.
Yeah. And the thing is that, when you're molested or when you are raped, there is no time limit for you to come out and say that these things happen to you. You come out when you're ready. You come out when you have the courage. You come out when you have the strength and when you're ready to deal with that. Nobody can tell you to say, why did it take you so long to come out? I wouldn't give a goddamn if it took you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50. You come out when you're ready. Period, point blank.
See, you need to be speaking to them churches because you know that's happening in them churches too.
Every single day. Somebody was
You're right down there with Eddie Long, bruh. Not trying to be funny, but Eddie Long, yeah, he's a predator.
And when you pay people to keep them quiet, there's truth. Come on now. Why
Yeah,
would you
buddy.
probably pay somebody? Why would he admit to giving somebody a pill but denying that that's what the pill was for? Nigga, stop lying. You know exactly what the hell he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Just like
I hear you.
said, when Stacey posted that post on Facebook, he posted and said, there's no truth to these false allegations about me and my niggas. But then you go in the inbox to Lisa, the lady that you raped, and you say, there's some truth to what the gay guy said, but I never gave in to him. Nigga, you just said two damn things. Three, first off, you know your ass did some. Two, you know that there's some truth to it. Three, your niggas, you just threw them under the bus. You know what I'm saying?
You did. I read that. And all I did was this. Like,
to make matters even worse, never gave in to him. That him was a 12-year-old boy. What the hell do you mean you never gave in to him? He was 20 years old. How could you never give in to a 12-year-old child? That's just like he's in that little girl's inbox and he's hitting her up for a whole goddamn year. A whole year. And you tell her right at the end, you and your fruit is hot. And I had to watch myself before I liked one of your pictures. What the hell you mean you have to watch yourself? You a grown ass 43-year-old man now talking to a 15-year-old. Your ass is a damn predator.
Yeah.
You are a menace to society, and you got more than 11 victims.
Yeah.
So if you research that, the average raper has 107 victims. So that means there's still 90 of us still out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, and that's the thing. I look at my daughter at 15. She's like, "Hey, Poppy, can you take me to the movies?" Yes. My friends want to come. I make sure that we don't sit by each other. I go to another movie, because I don't even want to be accused. You know what I mean? I mean, it's so crazy nowadays that people people are annoyed because it does happen. But I make sure that there's a separation. I don't laugh and joke with them. I don't play with them like that because I don't want anybody even insinuate. And it's so funny that you, yeah. I mean, I remember when my daughter, before when we let her have a Facebook page, she would want to get on my Facebook page, and she would, have her friends add me, and I'm like, shit, no way, no, delete. I don't want your friends. I don't want them following me, on Instagram or none of that. When I would see them, I would just go block. Why? Because I may say something that is adult appropriate, but these girls, next thing you know, they tell you, well, her dad said this. What? You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't need no hassle that over no BS. I say if I do something, I did it. You know what I mean? But that shit, I'm not touching no kids and none of that. It's like, damn. Yes, some of these girls are fucking stacked out there. But you know what? You gotta have fucking common sense to know that that's a fucking child.
Exactly.
I mean, some of them, I mean, as a parent, as a dad, we're like, man, what the hell are these kids eating?
But it's a difference though when you don't know they're a child versus when your ass know that they're a child.
It don't take but 2 seconds if you say something to them. Hell, they talking about damn Barney. You don't. I'll be 43 in October. I can't talk to a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old. We don't have the same conversation.
Exactly. That's what I say. It's a difference when you know and when you don't know. You should know about talking to a damn child. It don't matter how they look. When they open up their goddamn mouth and you hear their conversation, you know that's a child.
Just like Jared from Subway.
Hello.
What he say? The younger, the better. I just heard that on CNN today. Yeah. The younger, the damn better. Are you kidding me?
That's how they feel. And it's about power. This has to do a lot with power. Power is the number one thing. I think about this when I logged into my friend's Facebook to go look on Facebook page. And the only thing I saw him post was about sex. So it's about power and sex. His videos, it's just crazy. He's a 43-year-old rapper that first hit still ain't made it. Let's just be honest.
A 40, he still got dreams. It's all good. Hey man, hey, we're just like,
have a dream, but at some point you need to get that shit up. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to be a rapper and you homeless, that should not be one of your dreams right now. Keep on working at the bank.
Yeah, you right about that, bro. Well, hey man, let's wrap this up. So, tell people, you got a website and all that, or what?
I have a website, www.samuel, SAMUL, Holloway, HOLLOWAY, the number 3.com. Again, that's www.samuelholloway3.com. Open the book, Eyes Without a Face, and How It All Happened. You can both these out on Amazon. Basically, I want to say the story is
Hey, put those up again. Say something.
this. These books are inspirational stories. You know, just to help a lot of people get over their hurt, just to help a lot of people get over their pain. You know, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. You still hear me?
Absolutely. Yeah, you clicked off your thing. I was about to take a snapshot
Wait, how
of
do I
those.
turn go back, open camera?
Yeah, and then when you say something, it'll pop back on. There we go. Say something, so it brings you back to the screen.
Free. You know, um, everybody has a hope.
Perfect.
Has a hope. You know, basically these books are inspirational. They're encouraging. They're motivating. They're positive. This is a movement. You know, this is a real life movement to help a lot of people because a lot of people are living in a world of hurt. A lot of people are living in a world of shame and embarrassment, regret. You know, so it's time to open up. It's time to start talking about the things that we don't want to talk about. It's time to stop sweeping things under the rug and face reality. It's not about me. I'm just the story behind the book. This story is to help our children, to help the next generation as well as this generation. These books are to empower a lot of people to get over their past. Because some of us feel like if we leave the past alone, then we can move forward. But that's a lie because you can't get to your future without looking back and dealing with your past. Because your past is hindering you, it's holding you back. You know, so you need to deal with that in order to get to where you're going. So it's, you know, get a book, read it, help somebody else, spread the word. Let's start this movement. Let's get it going. Because this is about our children at the end of the day.
Cool. Absolutely, bro. Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, guys, if you're watching this, all the links to the books are also in his description below. His link to his Black Folk Hotspots profile is in the link below. So you can, if you didn't quite get the website, it's there. Connect with him on Twitter, follow him on Facebook, because just follow this journey because he's dropping gems and this, that, and the other, and he's getting this out there because this is real. It's happening every day, whether you want to admit it or not. It is absolutely happening. I've heard this story over and over and over again, and I just said I had to get them on. You know, number one, I've seen. You know, it's people that I know, like I know Lisa. You know what I mean? I know Sam. And it's like, wait a minute, hold on here. You know, and it's like, no. See, so if it's happening, you know, to people I know, it's happening to people you know, and once we start, you know, diving in this, we can help people because if you know it may have happened to someone, you can start asking questions, and by asking questions, you know, you get to the bottom of it sometimes. Or just opening up your eyes. So definitely pick up the books, connect with Sam, follow his journey, and it's definitely, you know, it's a ride. It's some information we need to know. So basically, we got episode 48 of Support Black Business TV is in the wraps. Your business owner watching this, create a profile at blackfolkhotspots.com so that we can share your business with our network and put you into our daily rotation. Update your profile, Sam, with your new books, by the way.
I will.
So we can get that in the cycle. Put a copy in the photo section. Put some book covers in there. The links where they can buy it, so we can get those rolling through the network as well.
I definitely will.
Hey man, I appreciate you coming on, man. Today it was good, man. I really do. We have to do this again when the next book come out.
Yeah, I thank you for helping me spread the word, bro.
You got it, man. Peace out, man. I appreciate it. You have a good day. We'll talk soon.